Just try to name a preseason All-American team in college hoops. It's tough because just about every marquee name from this season is leaving for the large bucks. 3 ACC stars said sayonara after their sophomore seasons, scrambling the forecast in what was the country's best conference, and also raising questions about the low priority on academics.
I plan on foregoing my junior and senior year and enter my name in the NBA draft.
I know I can't play the rest of my life, so I have to do what I have to do now to secure my future.
I will go to the NBA with the utmost confidence.
With these 3 announcements, hardship may now be an appropriate way to describe the ACC's future. But does it also signal the beginning of an irreversible trend in college basketball?
More now so than ever before, I see players, number one, thinking about leaving early and actually leaving.
It's a little bit surprising and something that I think needs to be looked at very carefully.
I'm very, very concerned about 19, 20-year-old college students giving up their college eligibility. I mean, who's going to be his mentor? Who's going to look after that young man?
24 underclassmen have been selected in the NBA draft lottery since it began in 1985. 11 have come in the past 2 years. In last season's draft, 6 of the top 7 picks were early entries. And this year should be no different. Potentially, the top 6 picks in June's draft will be underclassmen.
I think the thing that's going to happen is they're only going to be there 2 years, and I think you're even going to see the effect now where certainly a couple of these kids are only going to be 1 year.
I don't like the process the way it is right now. My own personal thoughts that maybe go back to freshman ineligibility and have a freshman team.
Magic Johnson, James Worthy, Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan. Early entry into the NBA is not new, but successful hardship cases of the past have been more mature, more experienced, and more prepared players.
There are other aspects that they're not addressing, and I have a problem with that.
I think it's so hard for these young men to be thrown into the NBA at such an early stage in their career.
But has the NCAA become the official pit stop of the NBA, or is the value of a college diploma still the driving force behind attending big-time college schools?
These young people, the education is important to them, but they can come back and get their degree.
What would be the harm would be a guy going 4 years and not graduating. Then they've truly been exploited.
I don't like to see guys who act like it, but you can't blame them. I mean, you're getting, what, $40 million or something. I'd come back, too.
I don't think it's fair for somebody on the outside to say kids should do this or do that because certain people have, certain people's refrigerator looks a lot different than others.
Smith, Wallace, and Stackhouse, according to many experts, could be the top 3 picks in some order, so it's hard to blame any of them for deciding to come out. But, Dick, with sophomores now leaving the ACC in big numbers, this is a conference that likes to crow about its academic reputation. And I know I'm not naive enough to believe that these guys show up first as students and second as players. They're there to play, but it is curious. A conference with an academic reputation that likes to emphasize that. These guys are now treating college just like a pit stop before cashing in. No intention of even making progress toward a degree.
Yes, and I don't blame the kids. I mean, I blame the schools for ruining the priority. Colleges are supposed to be for an education. I mean, if you want to prepare players, let them play in a semi-pro league in between. Don't take up places that could be taken by students. And these coaches, while they say, they hate to see a kid leave, you give them a choice between recruiting a blue chipper for 2 years or a mediocre player for 4, guess who they'll take?
I know we've had discussions about your feelings on big-time college athletics before. Of course, guys leave early in other conferences besides the ACC, but you have to wonder how this trend is going to continue beyond the turn of the century. I mean, Kevin Garnett announcing he's going to skip college, go straight to the NBA. There's also a report that a high school sophomore has already committed to Indiana. I just wonder how long it's going to be before a high school sophomore announces he's going to skip his final 2 years of eligibility in high school and college and go straight to the NBA.
Sure, we'll have 12, 13, 14-year-olds, Doogie Housers of the NBA.
You have to wonder about the advice some of these guys do get. Of course, the motivation for many has been to beat the rookie salary cap and get in there before the The collective bargaining agreement limits the amount of money a rookie can make, but as those negotiations move forward, it may already be too late for the players entering this draft, according to ESPN's Jackie McMullen.
My understanding is if there is no collective bargaining agreement in place by the June draft, the draft will be held, and immediately after that, they will put a moratorium on all player signings until the new agreement is reached. Now, we all know the new agreement is going to include a rookie cap. So from what my understanding is, these players will be subject to a rookie cap. From my other understanding is that someone will challenge this, and we'll be back in court again where the NBA has been for the last 3 years anyway.
That you can count on, but it's certainly going to surprise many of the guys coming out in this draft if they're already too late to beat that rookie salary cap. By the way, the lottery is next Sunday. The draft is June 28th in Toronto. Many of college football's top stars are skipping out early, too, but not Danny Cannell, and that's why Florida State is still a contender. Mike Gottfried's spring football report is coming up next.